Welcome back everyone to the sequel of My Dragons Only challenge in Honkai Star Rail. Today we're gonna see if a full team of dragons can beat the following DLC modes: Swarm Disaster, Golden Gear, Unknowable Domain, and Divergent Universe. Kick back as I give you the rundowns. In true Ben fashion, the first run was scuffed. It was fun relearning the mechanics though. To start, we pick a path and get a dice of effects that trigger when interacting with the communion device at the end of the domains. The first run will be Propagation. Each one of these hexagon tiles on the map is a domain. There are 3 maps or planes to navigate. At the start of each plane, 2 tiles are converted to swarm-related tiles. For the first 4 battles that aren't boss battles, enemies will always be missing 99% of their health because of this communing trail effect you unlock after several runs. It's just difficulty 5. Ow. I got like 11 charge off of that.
Because now that I think about it, Castros doesn't actually use any skill points, so Dan Heng can use the skill still.
Yeah, and then it's just Bailu and Lingsha fighting to keep everyone alive. Although I am noticing that Castros without buffs, the dragon is not doing a lot. but I'm also on diff 15. And also Castros is, this is Swarm Disaster, Castros does not have anything to buffer.
Wait, what? Doesn't Swarm Disaster have the Abundance Path? That's like the most like insane buff you could get.
I'm currently running Propagation because I figured Dawn Hunt is more useful.
Low-key, I would disagree. Because like Castros with Abundance buffs, low-key is crazy.
Well, the nice thing about this video is I can try multiple things because
yeah,
at least for the first 2 DLCs, I can't imagine it being too hard.
Yeah, this is fair.
Thankfully, Plane 2 has a lot of swarm-related tiles. It's also large enough that we can potentially convert more as we traverse. I always ignore Mini Herda in the first domain since most of these options aren't worth the cosmic fragment cost. Wait, for science? Oh, I can't target the dragon with Propagation. Oh, that's interesting.
You can't target the dragon with anything, really.
You can target it with healing.
Yeah, this is true.
Which is weird. Alright, hear me out. Castros. Skill. Damn it, the dragon didn't come. Wait. I'm big brain.
Oh lord, he coming.
At this point, I now remembered that Propagation is rough to use initially because the only character who can use it to the fullest is Environor Lune. Since I don't run speed boots on my normal build, we'll see him in 3 to 5 business days while we chip away at the tanky enemies. I roll the effect to turn adjacent domains into swarm-related occurrences. Then I got it again and infested the map with swarm tiles. Since most are occurrences, there's only the occasional battle against the small sting enemies, which pose no serious threat. Oh lord. Oh no! I have 2 revives! Oh, this is perfect. This is actually perfect for me. Oh my god, Ian, look how many I just got!
Holy. Okay.
I didn't even cheat chance or reroll. Oh my god, the run is coming together, boys. I might get 2 of these. Yeah, let's go. Oh, all 3, let's go. This run is goated. Usually I don't like fighting the deer, but I do have at least 2 characters who can shred its toughness bar while waiting for Environor's turn. Meanwhile, Pollux deals AoE damage to destroy their summons. You know what? Spam that dragon. Kill him. Ain't no way he lived on 1, bro. Ain't no way he lived on 1. Oh, I forgot about interplay. Oh, I'm throwing so hard. Sure. Please don't turn the reward. That's a little tragic. I got Flicker and a Preservation Blessing from this Trotter domain. This run is so back despite my trolling and clownery. I am entering the final battle with the countdown above 0, so the enemy stats aren't boosted further. Fun fact, Flicker's HP restore also works for Pollux, which is great because it means we get a few more attacks out of every turn. Oh, whoops, I accidentally triggered the dragon too early. Whoopsies. Strategy wise, you primarily target the small swarm stings because they place the vulnerability debuff on the big true sting upon death. You'll have to forgive me, I forgot to show the final blessings and Curios in most of these runs, so I'm gonna have them on screen for a bit. You can pause or fast forward at any time. Now sure, I could move on to the next mode, but I wanted to try my friend Ian's suggestion of Abundance Path. I mean, hey, more content for you to watch. The Abundance dice is centered around the Mercy effect, which is highlighted by a green aura on tiles. While exploring tiles with Mercy, the countdown will increase by 1. This is nice as it allows you to explore more tiles than you would normally using other paths. Early on, I got a random event giving me the seal of Propagation Curio, granting me a free random propagation blessing. Man, the Jingliu adventure domain power creep is so real. Now I could trade my current cosmic fragments for the cavity curio for a huge crit damage boost, but I like hoarding them for enhancements in the final respite domain. Unlike the propagation path, there is no way I can overwrite tiles with abundance. Instead, I gambled away my propagation curio since it's only useful for the one-time trigger upon obtaining it. Worst case, I get nothing useful, but I got a seal of elation and the space cheese. When playing abundance, always pick a Nada first because after the first use of the resonance ability, the Aeon will join the turn order and give free healing. After entering a couple of swarm tiles, I gained enough for the first interplay. Then after an elite battle, I got the last nihility blessing for the second one. Honestly, either of these options are fine for the second battle. Gacolia is easier since Linksha and abundance hard counters her constant freezes. Plus, with Space Cheese, Linksha's break efficiency is increased, so the enemy will have less uptime. Oh, my Linksha! In case you were wondering, I was saving Castrus's ultimate for phase 3. Not gonna lie, I think that's the first time I've gotten 3 random blessings from the Meteorite Curio. Now I get a third free revive. I'm practically unkillable. As you can see, our countdown never dipped under double digits, so the true sting is still at its weakest state. I'll be honest, I'm not sure why Pollux's claw attack did more damage than her Biden blasts. While Imbibitor does gain some benefits from abundance via the Dewdrop effect and certain blessings, it's clear that this path is Castrus's best friend. Oh my god, I think the dragon's about to one-shot everything. Yep. I did so much damage. I need to pause that frame. I can't tell if it was 15 million or 1.5 million. On to Golden Gear. It is similar to Swarm Disaster, but here are the differences. One, we have a variety of dice to customize for various strategies. They are no longer tied to the path system. My friends and I enjoy using the one with the passive that gives blessings when entering occurrences and reward domains. Now, depending on how far you are in this mode, your custom dice phase options may vary, so pick the best you have related to the passive. Some of you might wonder, are you doing the max conundrum? No. Plus, the strategy works for all conundrum thresholds since we'll be fighting as few enemies as possible. I'm running the Abundance path first. As for bannable paths, Remembrance, because for those unaware, Remembrance used to be based around freezing enemies, not memo spites like Pollux. Elation isn't too useful since only Linksha has a follow-up attack, but I also could have banned Nihility since our team has 0 dot. Regardless, banning 2 paths from the RNG pool makes runs more consistent. Just like before, we have 3 planes of domains to explore before the final boss. Turn 1, I get a gold dice phase effect and copy the reward domain. After re-rolling and get a dice phase that allows me to take the rewards from a valid domain, I decide to slash this bottom right one since my pathing for plane 2 is the following. Then I lost the gamble on this occurrence to a bad Curio. Next, I got the best destruction buff and the first interplay. I suppose fate is a funny thing because I got a domain option to discard that bad Curio for fragments. Now you'll see what happens when our countdown reaches 0. We trigger Planetary Disarray, which starts increasing the disruption level, providing certain buffs to the enemy. In a regular difficulty 5 run, it caps at 6. I recommend avoiding any plane 2 fight that gives the plane 3 boss the Abundance Resonance ability. Letting the enemy get free heals is cringe. Now it might not look like it at a glance, but the enemies in Golden Gear are way tankier than Swarm Disaster. It is likely a counter to the fact that certain dice strategies exist, where you get so many blessings and curios that you're ideally much stronger before entering any combat. Well, I see history repeats itself. That POV, because the dragon just gained a shield and you just see his belly. Her belly, my bad. Now, I could be wrong, but I believe if the current enemies are at 0 HP before the final bounce attack, this all goes towards Argenti. Granted, I can't tell what's happening because there are too many numbers on my screen. I'm gonna do the resonance thing, get my dragon, Donhan, Castris, boom, I GG's, I win. That is so BM. You know what, I'm so confident the dragon's just gonna kill him. Oh. That's a little awkward.
Damn.
Oh, well, I got it back. Thank you, Argenti, for being AoE. Alright, editor, no. Cut out that first one. Second run with the propagation path. Unfortunately, for some reason, I didn't get the Curio I always get from this occurrence, so the game was already sabotaging me and nearly killed Imbibiner turn 1. Unlike Swarm, I can gain propagation blessings from combat and the dice effects, so I am stronger comparatively, although most of the propagation path's damage comes from applying spores, which I just gained. I picked the Laurel Crown Curio so that I can skip the second plane boss instantly. For the most part, this run was uneventful. I did drop to 1% HP because of the Cosmic Big Lotto Curio, but I healed myself in a Trotter challenge, so it's all good. Oh, please don't replace the... Of course it did. Okay, well, these rewards better be worth it. Spoiler alert, only the final reward domain was worth it because the Knights of Beauty gave me cavities. Alright, final phase. Dude, okay, wow, they are doing a lot of damage. Like, I have 2 healers. I have the dragon as well, and yet Bailu lost like a third of her HP to one fat robot saw. For the final fight, the main gimmick is in phase 3, where if you don't kill both robots within a 3-turn limit, they will resurrect. Throughout this fight, I prioritize the Big Grizzly because it has no imaginary weakness, meaning I do less damage to it with Imbibiner. The blast damage is enough for the Direwolf, plus Pollux takes care of the other summons that occasionally spawn. Next in the release order is Divergent Universe. I have the least to say because this mode is straightforward. I'll explain the differences from Simulated Universe, but I play it the same way as usual. Torturous difficulty, difficulty X. Actually, it's only Threshold Protocol 1 because I have no interest in subjecting myself to max threshold torture again. The newest mechanic in the current cycle is Golden Blood's boons. Each one of them is based on the Amphoris's Chrysos heirs. Unsurprisingly, Castrus's is the best one for us, but My Day is just as good. Next, the main feature of Divergent is the equations. Collect a certain amount of 2 specific blessing types, and you unlock the bonus effects. I choose the guard option for the Trailblaze blessing, since I prefer to have more blessings that are guaranteed to work with my equations. If I didn't get a good starting equation, I'd maybe choose the other options.
Is Ben abundance maxing?
Well, the funny thing about Divergent is abundance doesn't exist.
Oh, is Ben propagation maxing?
I'm going for a hybrid type build this run. The nighttime boons benefit Castrus, while the equations will benefit Embiorator Lunae and the rest of the team. I go to occurrence domains for Curios and whatever good effects I can grab. As you pass certain domains, you get the choice of more golden boons. In the first 2 plain boss domains and the final respite domain, you can enhance your blessings at the Ranmei Cat Station using heat. You'll only get 6 heat without a certain Curio, so I usually just upgrade my best 3-star blessing and work my way down to whatever remaining useful blessings I still have. Now I can explain the day and night mechanics. At the start of your run, the day and night are split equally 50-50 in the turn order. In general, the day provides extra healing to your team, while at night everyone takes more damage. Most nighttime boons also grant us additional damage for losing HP, so a win-win for Castrus. More propagation maxing. Weighted Curios are honestly neglectable for my challenge team. I looked through all of them and only 2 of them provided a small boost to at least one of my characters. Halfway through Plane 2, we have the Excessive Conversion Challenge, aka a DPS check for some extra rewards. The TV enemy did a lot of AoE damage, hence this is why nighttime can be a double-edged sword in higher difficulties. I'm never worried about not fully unlocking my equations because I know Screw'em is always at the multiple transaction store domains, and he always sells at least 1 to 2 blessings required for my equations. The last surprise, propagation works differently in the current Divergent cycle. Instead of spores, it is focused on triggering the butterfly state, which allows everyone to start dealing true damage. It's okay, I guess. Now we finish with my least favorite mode, Unknowable Domain. My first run was at difficulty 5, Conundrum 3. This was the highest I've unlocked prior, but I'm not expecting too much from this first test run. For anyone curious, I'm using Twin Beast showcase video as a rough guide for my strategy. I've put some serious thought into how it could be possible for dragons only. This mode centers around the scepters. Think of them as the Walmart version of equations. The scepters are your primary source of damage because the HP inflation here makes tariffs look like pocket change in comparison. Your characters only serve as drivers or activators for the scepters. There are 4 types. Follow-up attack, which I can't use because only Linksha has a follow-up attack on the team. There's break, but this team is not quickly or consistently toughness breaking any enemies. There's dot, and I don't have a single dot character on this team. Our only remaining option are the ultimate scepters. Luckily, I have 1 ace up my sleeve to maximize our odds. I put a max S5 quid pro quo on both Linksha and Bailu. Castrus doesn't use energy, so the passive effect of this Lycon will benefit everyone else on the team. While I normally go for the occurrence domains, the plane 1 combat domains are still manageable because it takes time for us to build our scepter strength. We'll also get guaranteed component component drops. These Walmart versions of blessings are necessary to equip to our scepters for additional effects. Sadly, that means that the effects only trigger when the scepter does. Do you see the problem with this mode? At certain domains, there's the Ranmei station once again. We can use cosmic fragments to either overwrite components or upgrade the scepters. If you have 4 extra components you're not using, you do get 1 free synthesis per station. I always save the upgrades after the first plane boss fight, since the station never goes away if you don't leave the domain. Right now it takes 2 ultimates to charge my red scepter. Luckily the T-Rex chef enemy is an easy fight for us because of its self-damage mechanic. I got my second best in slot scepter and the best in slot gold component for gold scepters. Now I upgrade my first component to blue rarity. I could go to the store, but my fragment count isn't high enough to get any new scepter or components, so back to Recurrence. Oh my god.
Was the knight in shining armor.
For those unaware, this is an extremely rare occurrence because of how busted it is. For reference, according to my 2-year report, I only saw this occurrence once last year. Upon looking at the wiki to make sure I don't mess this up, the first dialogue choice doesn't matter. Now, I will be honest with you guys, I've played a good amount of these roguelike modes for a good while now, and I recognize that they will always have some level of RNG. You have seen me get lucky in some of these challenge runs, but at the same time, I hate that for Unknowable domain, that's all you can rely on. Well, I guess I couldn't be 100% lucky because the scepter options Ranmei offered are not ultimate ones. Plane 2 is where we start avoiding combat domains. If we have the choice for wealth domains, those are worth more than occurrences since we'll always get a good amount of fragments from the treasure chests. I'll also spin the roulette wheel once or twice for a random component at a lower initial cost. Halfway through the run, you'll get this unavoidable combat stage, which doesn't have the Ranmei station. Now I'll explain the cycle requirements. In Unknowable, you get 2 free cycles to start with before it starts dipping into your reserves. You start your runs with 4 cycles in your reserves. If the battle goes on long enough that you lose a reserve cycle, it goes down and will carry over to the next battle. If you have 0 reserve cycles, the enemies will trigger berserk mode and infinitely scale their attack until you can't survive it. Not gonna lie, sadly, these gold options aren't ideal. I tried to overwrite that gold component into one of the better options. Field of Binding was one of them, so I equip it on my only charged scepter, upgrade it to gold rarity, and begin the second plane boss fight. I don't like fast forwarding a lot in my challenge runs, but I'm telling you right now, this is just a waiting game for my scepters to deal damage to the enemies. Thankfully, since the Void Ranger can't one-shot me unless I'm already under half HP, I can spam my Bailu and Linksha ultimates if Pollux isn't about to expire. I did use up one of my reserve cycles, so I will be entering the final battle with just 3. Ooh, double ultimate speed scepters. Not the ideal setup, even if I were running a normal team. You want double charge scepters and 1 speed scepter so that they can feed into each other and create a chain loop like it's a turn 1 Yu-Gi-Oh hand. Unfortunately, there is nothing that I, as a player, can do at this point because there are no other ways to get scepters, so I have to just pick what I can and hope for the best. I get one of the IPC occurrences and withdraw the fragments hidden under my pillow. At the Respite domain, I upgraded my final scepter, rewrote a few components, and didn't get anything else useful. I have 17 Curios and the best setup I can. If I can't beat Argenti with this after being blessed by Ranmei herself, then it's Joe over. Phase 1, now despite, according to Argenti, dealing flesh wounds to him, he just won't die. 5 minutes in and his HP is barely half. Unlike the phase 2 fight, I have to make the tough calls about my Linksha and Bailu ultimates because I need them to be active when Pollux is not on the field, but I also need to be ready when Argenti uses his big AoE attack. Of course, Argenti has this mechanic where one of his summons will just give him a shield for free to negate the first instance of any damage. Wonderful. Honestly, if I can beat phase 1, I'll call it a success for now.
Bro did 4.4 million damage and bro did not flinch.
I know, that's why this game mode is so bad. Like, oh wow, look at these big numbers I'm doing. Didn't do jack. Well, I got to phase 2 and Argenti has triggered the berserk state. Oh, revive. And Caster's revive. Well, boys, next hit he attacks me with, I'm dead.
No, bro, you got this.
Yeah, you live, trust.
As much as I would love to tell you all that I overcame the odds and managed to strategically stall Argenti, that didn't happen. 4 more minutes of stalling led to Argenti's AoE attack, outright instantly draining Pollux's HP and forcing the bounce attack to auto-trigger. Honestly, while losing this run sucks momentarily, what really boils my blood even more is the game tricked me into thinking I had a chance, only to take it away from me in the final battle because it refused to give me even half of the components I actually needed. After taking an hour break to touch grass and reset mentally, I tried again, only on difficulty 5 this time. While I reset the RNG, let me address the flaws in my plan and team. First, 2 of my characters have ultimates that don't deal damage at all. Sure, my personal damage won't matter in the grand scheme, but it's still a DPS loss. Second, Castress low-key might be nerfing the team because of her HP drain mechanics. I could replace her with regular Danhan, as one commenter argued he technically counts, but at the same time, Pollux's uptime is so integral to surviving the final battle that I still need her. Third, while this is the most brain-dead second monitor auto battle content Star Rail has ever made, it's not reasonable for me to use auto battle because the AI is not smart enough to strategically spam my healing ultimates at full HP, and Pollux's AI will waste all her attacks on turn 1 and self-kamikaze. This time I went for the wealth domain at the start. The free cosmic fragments we get are the most valuable resource in this mode to try and save ourselves from bad RNG, letting you know that Space Cheese is now in play for this run. I blast my way through the Plane 1 boss, getting that missing ultimate charge scepter from the last run. Not the best one in slot, but at this point I'm in the acceptance stage, so I don't care anymore. I go to the store and purchase the best speed scepter. I use my remaining fragments to upgrade my red scepter to blue rarity. This is the best case scenario I could have hoped for. My blue scepter is weaker because I don't have the components to lessen its charge requirements, but you can see when it activates, it also provides charge to the red scepter. This is what we hope to have consistently by the final battle. The second plane's boss was the T-Rex, so it was nice of the game to show me some mercy. Then I got a free upgrade from my remaining blue rarity scepter. We don't talk about my inability to dodge. Or that one. I reroll components once more in the respite domain. I foolishly got greedy and rewrote a component that was okay for the hopes of something better and lost. Technically, it did allow me to use the other charge efficiency components that I had picked up since it was no longer set to a fixed amount. So not the worst case for throwing for content, you know? Alright, I need to fire these script writers because Argenti keeps returning for no reason, like he's the trilogy's main antagonist. Argenti started with less HP thanks to this goated Curio. It's a stall fest as it is always. At least this time when my speed scepter eventually goes off, it deals huge chunks of damage to Argenti. Yes, yes, yes! The chaining loops and the component that builds free ultimate charges for me like the Erudition Path Blessings. Yes, everything is working as intended. Argenti is defeated. I'm just happy that's done. Wait. Do you guys hear that? Okay, fine. I will attempt the secret fourth plane, but I consider the challenge complete regardless of what happens next. Upon entering the fourth plane, it gives you some random components and 500 more cosmic fragments. I fixed my mistake by re-rolling and got a usable golden component for my red scepter. For now, I will withhold re-rolling further in case I fail and need to restart the battle to use Ranmei Station again. In the fourth plane, the enemy lineup is always fixed. First wave is 5 cannoneers. Second wave is a few Bella Ball creatures. The third wave was 2 elites from the La Fu. The fourth wave is what I consider the run killer at higher difficulties, the True Sting. Thankfully, we can always rely on killing the small stings to get vulnerability debuffs on the big ones. Here, I Bailu ulted first instead of Castress so that I have her invigoration buff ready for when the final wave starts attacking and save Pollux a turn. Finally, it is Hule. Since his summons didn't get any turns, Hule isn't a threat until phase 3, where he automatically gives himself Moon Rage, a final desperate attempt from a cornered animal, one last ultimate to pour salt on his wounds. Finally, the challenge is completed. Here are my Scepter builds. Feel free to pause or ask questions in the comments. Thank you to everyone who has made it to the end. I hope that you enjoyed today's video. Consider subscribing for more challenge runs and video essays. I'm DragonLordLeda, and until then, on to my next video.